Harry Potter and the AI Adventure 2 Chapter 6. It was almost 11 when Snape returned home and headed straight upstairs to bed after giving the Ministry a piece of his mind about keeping the dark arts banned within Hogwarts grounds. Of course, he had been furious that someone would dare attack students, especially his own student. He wasn't sure how Harry had survived, since he was always careful to avoid being harmed by dark wizards. But he did manage to take care of himself, somehow. After spending most of the day lecturing Flitwick on the dangers of teaching a dangerous profession, he quickly fell asleep, hoping that Harry had managed to survive the night safely. "Good morning, Harry," said Ron brightly. Harry smiled at Ron before yawning. "Morning, Ron. How was your date with Hermione?" "It was awesome," Ron exclaimed. "She asked me out." "Isn't that great?" "That's great, Ron," congratulated Harry sincerely. Harry sat at the head table, eating breakfast, while Draco Malfoy and Hermione walked down the stairs to sit opposite him. Neither one of them seemed bothered by what happened at the Quidditch match last night. In fact, they seemed to enjoy it immensely. After finishing breakfast, Hermione decided to join Harry in a spotter seat on top of the astronomy tower, where they were enjoying some fresh air and looking out at the stars. "Thanks for coming out here, Harry. I really appreciate it," said Hermione, looking around. "It's nice, isn't it?" "How's Ron?" Harry asked, suddenly remembering Ron's date last night. "Fine, I guess." "You? Great," Harry replied, grinning at her. "I mean, besides the fact that the world seems to be ending right now, we've done great." "Do you think it's actually possible for Voldemort to die?" Hermione whispered. "Of course it is," Harry replied. "I killed him, remember?" Hermione stared at him in disbelief. "You killed Voldemort?" "Yes," Harry confirmed. "Remember the diary? That was me. But it doesn't make any sense. He was defeated, killed by Dumbledore's army. How can you possibly have killed him? He has no body anymore, so Dumbledore's army can't kill him anymore. He's immortal. He's been dead for years. But how can this be true? How could you have killed him? And who was he? Where have you been living? When was this? Why didn't anyone tell me about this? What's going on?" "Slow down, Hermione. Everything will be explained soon enough." "When?" she insisted insistently. "Soon," Harry promised. "Now eat your porridge. It's cold." It was almost midday when Remus finally arrived, carrying 2 big bouquets of roses. "How's Harry?" Remus asked anxiously, handing one of the roses to Sirius. Sirius opened his mouth to respond, but then closed it again, unsure whether or not he should answer. "Harry's fine, Remus," said Hermione reassuringly. "He got hit with a killing curse on the leg. I'm afraid he may lose it, though," she added sadly, trying not to look worried. Remus nodded and took a deep breath. "How's the game?" "Did anyone get hurt yet?" "We lost the first quaffle," Sirius informed him. Remus nodded. "Any casualties?" Sirius shrugged his shoulders. "No one else is seriously injured so far, but I don't think I can wait much longer. They're definitely planning something. This whole thing has been suspicious from the start, especially what Snape said at dinner." Remus frowned as he listened. "Did he say anything else?" "Yeah, he just told us to go down to the pitch tonight at midnight. To kill us, or he'd kill us anyway, whatever he says." "Sounds like it might be a trap. Or just a warning," said Sirius bitterly. "If we get there first, he'll only have half of his Death Eater supporters. We should be able to defeat them easily." "Right. Well, I better get down to the hospital wing," Remus stated reluctantly. "See you later, guys." Once he was gone, Harry turned towards Ron. "What do we do? Do you want to play Seeker tonight?" "Sure, why not? Maybe he can beat Hufflepuff," said Ron excitedly. "Ronnie Weasley versus Justin Finch Fletchley." "Don't forget Diggory," said Ginny, rolling her eyes, having seen the game, and also knowing Ron's hatred of the Gryffindor Seeker Cedric Diggory. "Oh yeah, Cedric," Ron said, frowning for a moment as he remembered Cedric. "I hope he wins." Just then Snape entered the Great Hall, followed by Alastair Moody. They were all seated around the head table, waiting for the professors to arrive. "Why aren't you sitting down?" Snape barked at Severus once he saw him approaching the end of the Slytherin table. "The boy needs tending," Severus replied simply, ignoring his question. Snape's eyes narrowed angrily at his own words. "Are you suggesting I've made mistakes? Is that what you're trying to imply, Mr. Snape?" "Because I assure you that I haven't," he growled, pointing towards Harry, who was busy stuffing his face with bread. "Mr. Snape," McGonagall began, trying to interrupt Snape's argument. Snape glared back at McGonagall. "Shut up, McGonagall. Let me finish." McGonagall sighed and remained silent, allowing Severus to continue his rant against Snape. Well, I won't deny that my teaching methods have perhaps not been appropriate at times. Perhaps I have missed more things than I should have. However, I've spent too long protecting this castle not to learn how to defend myself and mine. And you know what? Even if we fail, we'll still be victorious, said Severus angrily, standing and staring down at Snape with contempt and anger in his eyes. Very well. If that's the case, then I suppose it's time for you to leave the school. You will never teach magic here ever again. With that, Snape fired himself. Everyone gasped in shock. No one had ever dared to speak to Snape like that, especially after the duel at Halloween when Snape had tried to strangle Harry to death. After Snape left, everyone stood and slowly exited the hall, muttering amongst themselves about Snape's decision and what it meant for their future. As Harry walked towards his room, he overheard several of them talking about the loss of a teacher to Hogwarts and how horrible it would be without one. When Harry reached his door, he stopped outside of it and looked down, noticing the little note taped to the door. He quickly tore it off the door and read it, smiling slightly. "Dear Harry, sorry for leaving you so abruptly yesterday, but I wanted some space to think things over. Please believe me when I say that I didn't mean what I said. Please forgive me, and don't give up on our friendship. I love you. Draco,